Hi, Stacy here with Limelight AZ. So as I've said before, I don't really care for this angle, um, but I just did the bee stinging. I did 8 stings on my upper back, and we did it in the tattoo area. I will link down below my thoughts on stinging in that tattoo area, which I think is still accurate because it does hurt more. Anyway, I am posting a pet peeve video. I have a pet peeve about bee venom therapy that I'd like to share with you. And not so much about the therapy itself, but about people coming in to do bee venom therapy. I don't understand jumping into this therapy or any other therapy without understanding what you're jumping into. I am a type of person that jumps in with both feet, but I do it with a knowledge of knowing what I'm jumping into. I do crash course information load on what it is that I am dealing with. So, and I'm also very much so an advocate for myself. I've always been like that, and I am the same for my kids. So when I started having symptoms, I dug and dug online to try to find out what I was potentially dealing with because of my symptoms. And I'm the one that requested the Lyme disease testing that ended up coming back positive. So, and then from there, I knew right away I didn't want to do antibiotic because I had already seen the cycle that people go through on taking antibiotic for a month, then taking antibiotic for years, then going on to more natural therapies. And I didn't want to be on that that perpetual cycle of never healing, getting better, getting worse, getting better, getting worse, getting better, getting worse. So after a lot of research, I decided on bee venom therapy because I don't want to be on that cycle and I want to potentially cure this. That's a very risky word in the Lyme realm, because there is no official cure, but from what I can tell, bee venom has the best chance at it, so that's why I chose it. Anyhow, then when I chose bee venom, I dived into it quickly. I did do it fast. I mean, from the time that I discovered bee venom to the time I knew I wanted to do it was maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. But I dived into the subject and tried to learn as much as I could about it. I went through all of the files. I went through asking specific questions. I did a lot of legwork to know what it was that I was dealing with, how long people would feel bad for. Before ever starting, I knew that vitamin C was critical. I knew that I wasn't supposed to go up by more than 2 stings a week, and that I was supposed to do a testing for 30 seconds and then pull it out and wait 30 minutes, that I needed to have Benadryl and an EpiPen on hand, the EpiPen at all times when I'm doing the bee venom therapy or doing a bee venom therapy session. I knew that there were other supplements that were helpful. I knew that about the mast cell issues and histamine issues that often trip people up at the beginning, and about 15 months, about a year and a half in, somewhere between a year and a half, people really start getting tripped up with the histamine issues. I knew that right around 8 months is a very, 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 very challenging time of continuing on with the bee venom therapy. I also knew that about a year and a half in is the same. And that by 2 years, you should be feeling phenomenally better. I also knew about the mold that people frequently are dealing with on top of any other issues they may be dealing with in addition to the Lyme. Sorry if I'm babbling. It is starting to get a little late. I knew a lot of information, and I had asked a lot of questions. And prior to ever starting the bee venom therapy, which I started as quickly as I could financially once I learned this information, but I I don't understand jumping into this therapy and not really knowing what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm seeing people coming into the groups doing that, and it is frustrating because you can peg them. It's like, this person's not going to last because they're doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. They're jumping too high because they don't, with their ramping up too quickly. They are stinging in areas that they shouldn't be stinging. They're knocking all ideas for trying to fix their problems out the window. What is the point of doing this therapy if you're not going to follow the protocol? Ellie Lobel, who is the one that came, Lobel, I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name. She's the one that came up with this protocol for Lyme disease. She did it with our interest in mind. If you don't know why you're doing something, ask. It's not that hard. She and Nancy are extremely helpful on the boards and are more than willing to answer any questions. So ask questions. Don't just do stuff outside of the protocol. And if you don't know what the protocol is, you might want to look at it. Why are people doing the bee venom therapy without knowing what they're doing? I don't get it. It's one thing to be forgetful about the different parts of the protocol, and it's one thing to ask questions. I mean, asking questions is great, but it's so clear when people have not looked at the protocol and are just going based off of the little bit that they figure is correct. And it's frustrating because what ends up happening is these people end up dropping out because it's too hard, and because they've frequently made it too hard on themselves by the decisions that they're making, and so they drop out. Yeah, that's great. What good does that do? And then they go on and complain about bee venom therapy. I know that this happened quite a bit before I ever even came into understanding what Lyme was. That the bee venom group and bee venom therapy, community was having a lot of people going outside of protocol and then getting tired of the protocol and giving up on it, never making it to the 2 or 3 year mark. So, and for that reason, because I know about them and I keep seeing these new people coming into the group that are newer than me, but dropping out faster than I am, doing the same type of thing. And I am sticking to this protocol because I know that Ellie spent so much time on it to try to make sure that it was the best for those wanting to get over the Lyme. So, I don't understand, whether it's this protocol or any protocol or even any kind of medical treatment. Why? Why not understand what it is that you're dealing with instead of just jumping into one ring after another, hoping to happen upon something that'll work for you, Understand what it is that you're dealing with so you can make an educated decision. Maybe it comes from my anti-vax history and my natural birth history. I don't know. I am extremely skeptical of different medical procedures, and I'm extremely skeptical of intervention from medical people. Not that I don't think that they have a place and that they have a good thing for important situations, life and death, broken bones, stuff like that. But our country is way pharmaceutical loaded and medical intervention loaded. Like, we are doing medical interventions where there should be no medical interventions. And people just don't ask enough questions and don't advocate for themselves and their children enough. Okay, stepping off my soapbox. Have a good night.